Alright, what is up YouTube? It is Psychedelic Scizor, and I am here with the team builder for week 1 of the EBA against Aenzo. Also, he was probably also the last battle on the channel because it was the last week of the GSDL. I am sick right now. I feel like crap right now. That said, recording makes me feel better, just like emotionally. So here I am, just kind of put up with the sick voice. Um, so Anzo, as we know, is a very good battler, and even though he came in as a replacement and didn't make this draft himself, it is still a very threatening draft with a lot of mods that are just really hard to deal with. Let's go down the list here. Celesteela, Mega Charizard X, Tapu Bulu, Crocodile, Swampert, Reuniclus, Diancie, Rotom Cut, Quillfish, Ditto, Shiftry, and Hitmonchan. Now, some of the big ones that stand out to you right away are Mega Charizard X and Tapu Bulu. What a great offensive core, honestly. Bulu breaks just about everything except really bulky grass types, and even that has Mega Horn, and bulky steel types, even though it has superpower. And Mega Charizard X is extremely good at breaking grass and steel types, so that's already a great duo right there. On top of that, Celesteela can literally wall anything that isn't like a very strong electric or fire type. And there's even, taking away just from his OU picks, which are already threatening enough, there's a lot of stuff to deal with. Scarf Crocodile is always a threat. I've run that before. Swampert is just generally bulky and always going to get up rocks, against anything that isn't a grass type. Reuniclus, that's actually a key member there because that is one of the best checks in the game to Mega Metacham because that thing can really sponge hits with Regenerator, Max Fizz Def. I can't really touch it. Um, Also, some interesting threats below that. I have run Shiftry before. I really like it as a value pick, just as a very bottom. One of your last two picks. I like it. It's another defogger. And Ditto is very hard to deal with. I almost feel like it is very hard to prep for Ditto to the point where I don't want to say that I straight up didn't, but like there is very little counterplay other than just kind of making sure that you don't have a mon that can absolutely destroy the rest of your team. And I feel like I can at least handle all of the mons on my team, although I'm not really sure if he's going to bring it. Ditto is always hard to predict, and the players that use him are even harder too. That said, I feel very comfortable with the team that I made, and let's get on into this. So, my first mon that I started off with that I really liked the idea of is a Choice Scarf Zygarde. Just as a note, this is not just max, just for the sake of having it. Max speed, adamant, or in this case, naughty, basically non-speed boosting nature. On a base 115 mon, outspeeds base 100 by 1 point, so this actually is specifically tailored to outspeed Jolly Charizard X. So even if it gets Dragon Dance up and kills something, I can come in and still Thousand Arrows it. And that's the important part here. This thing is a great revenge killer. It can also clean up late game. I'm primarily going to be clicking Thousand Arrows. I don't know how much or if at all I'd be able to click Outrage because he has both Tapu Bulu and Diancie. And that's what these coverage options are for. Iron Tail is to hit Diancie harder, although it still doesn't OHKO it, I don't believe, if it's physically defensive. But Sludge Wave is actually just to catch Tapu Bulu on a switch because Bulu really takes every other hit very well. It has great natural physical defense, so even like a totally offensive, uninvested Bulu still really takes on this set very well. But Sludge Wave does roughly 70 to 80% to it, and with Thousand Arrows doing about like 22 to 27 or something around that range. If I catch him with a Sludge Wave once on the switch in, he can't switch in 2,000 Arrows anymore. His check to that is gone. So this thing could be a late game cleaner, nice revenge killer, and it's just a nice kind of emergency check to Charizard because maybe it could get up to +1, but I've made sure this team doesn't ever allow it to get to +2. Like, it can't set up on anything just for free. It's not ever going to be able to get 2 Dragon Dances off. I'm never going to play to let that happen. So while it's bulky, it's not bulky enough, especially when you have to prep for it that much. So This is my first set that I came up with. I like it just because of its ability to not have to worry about Charizard X quite as much. I still have to worry about it, but I have to know that, it's not just he clicks Dragon Dance, he wins. It's still a game after that. Next is, I didn't even realize this until I actually started looking at this. I forget that Miltank has Sap Sipper and therefore is a very good Tapu Bulu check. The only set that can actually beat not the only set that can beat Miltank, but the only way he can two-hit KO me is with a Adamant Choice Banded Superpower, but if he's locked into Superpower, I can then just switch out. My EV spread is pretty much max physical defense. I have enough speed to outspeed an Adamant Tapu Bulu. Any other set that, if it's not choice locked and it can switch into superpower, I'm able to just milk drink that all off. It's not going to 2-hit KO me. If he is Jolly, he won't 2-hit KO me, so I can milk drink that off still. So the only way he 2-hit KOs me is with Adamant Choice Banded Superpower, and I have switch-ins to that. And so Miltank is kind of standard: Stealth Rock, Milk Drink, Iron Head, and Thunder Wave. Iron Head kind of just for Diancie and for Bulu, although it doesn't do a lot to Bulu, it only does about 30%. But with Thunder Wave and Iron Head, I can maybe paraflinch some stuff. This thing really isn't much of an offensive threat anyway. Thunder Wave is for either Bulu or Charizard. It's kind of just to spread paralysis around. It's definitely going to help the team. If I can slow some things down, it'll help. It's my primary rocker, and again, it should be able to get it up because, let me double check actually something here. Actually, yeah, it does raise its attack. I forgot for a second if it was attack or special attack. +1 Iron Head is actually, I believe, able to 2-hit KO Tapu Bulu, so that is actually very helpful here. Sap Sipper giving me that immunity that is absolutely huge. I'm very happy with Miltank this week. Like I said, it does outspeed Adamant, and I'm not worried about Jolly because Jolly isn't going to be able to 2-hit KO me. I can just milk drink that all off, and I have plenty of PP for that. Next is Galvantula with an Expert Belt. Volt Switch, Thunder, Bug Buzz, Sticky Web. Now, this is actually, I didn't even plan on having Sticky Web on it initially. I just kind of threw this on, not at the end, but I had already started building further with it and then put Sticky Web on it. I don't really care if I get Sticky Web up this game. It's not a priority. I don't need it to win. It's not what my team is built around, but no other coverage option really mattered that much. Energy Ball would have OHKO'd Swampert, but that's about it. I wouldn't have done much to Diancie, and it doesn't hit anything else. And I think I have enough good answers to Swampert where I don't need Galvantula to run Energy Ball. And Sticky Web, while it's not necessary, it certainly is nice because I do have some slower threats, as you see later here, that under Sticky Web are very deadly. But this thing is mostly for specifically breaking the two walls that give me trouble. Thunder is for Celesteela. I believe that's a 2-hit KO. Or if not, it just does a big chunk out of it, and due to its lack of reliable recovery and the fact that it's never really going to be able to, Leech Seed stall me because I'm going to Volt Switch out, Galvantula is able to beat that, or at least weaken it. I don't need it to beat it, I just need it to be weakened so that some of my other mons, like, say, Zygarde, can clean up. And Bug Buzz is for Reuniclus. That does quite a bit of damage to physically defensive Reuniclus. I don't remember exactly how much, but it's quite a bit. I don't think it might be a 2-hit KO, but I think it's close, but not quite, or it's not guaranteed. Galvantula does a good job just as a fast pivot, specifically attacks certain walls that give me problems, and if I get a chance, I can set up Sticky Web. This is set to outspeed the base 100s, so I outspeed Charizard. I can't really outspeed anything else, and that's basically where I'm at. It's a pretty simple spread, max special attack, just do as much damage as possible. Next, we actually have Clawitzer with Life Orb. With enough speed to... This is to outspeed an uninvested Rotom-Mow, but I also speed crept it a little bit because in case he threw a little bit of speed on there. I'm really tempted to go max though because it reaches 210 and this is only 4 points above. So It would be very easy though for it to speed creep me, so I'm never gonna. I really doubt that I would. Yeah, I doubt that I would try to like assume that I'm outspeeding it anyway, because it's not going to be affected by sticky web and it's not going to be thunder waved. That said, it was still a nice speed tier to hit. And if I'm able to do something like confirm that there is like absolute max and everything, then I can figure it out from there. So Scald, Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and Dragon Pulse. The first three coverage options were fairly easy. Scald is very spammable and hits a lot of things. Scald and Dark Pulse actually do about 75 to 80% to Charizard, so this thing's not setting up on me. But then again, that is why I have Dragon Pulse at the bottom, just because I don't want that thing setting up at all on me, because Dragon Pulse is a guaranteed OHKO on it unless it's invested. And this thing just blows back a lot of things on his team. Dark Pulse blows Reuniclus back. Really, everything gets hit hard by this. Ice Beam does a ton to Tapu Bulu, which is one of his only real Scald switch-ins. And this is another nice abuser of Sticky Web if I happen to get it up, but again, it's not really dependent on it because this is mostly I'm gonna bring it in, I'm gonna scare things, and I'm going to just get a big hit off. Again, the only mon that actually gives us problems is, even though this is extremely powerful, especially defensive Celesteela still handles this pretty well. Its standard set really can't do a whole lot back, but I believe it gets Thunderbolt, and I'm pretty sure that hits me pretty hard. But if I'm able to get a good amount of chip in and just make this thing keep switching into it, it will eventually get worn down. It's not like I do nothing to it. I think I do about like 33, 35%, something like that. So it's still a decent amount of damage. And next to last is Sylveon, kind of a standard defensive set. Wish Protect, Hyper Voice, and Yawn. That was my kind of innovation here. Yawn is because Celesteela is going to come in on this for days. I only do something like 16 to 20% to it with Hyper Voice, and like it does nothing. It just eats up Sylveon's hits. So my way of shutting that down, along with anything else that maybe wants to switch into me, is just Yawn. You know, the thing either has to be able to hit me, and I'll just wish up, or it has to switch back out, and it doesn't want to switch in anything else because that is his only real switch into it. Yawn is also nice for Reuniclus. If it for some reason is a Calm Mind set, I really doubt that it will be Calm Mind because I think it has to be physically defensive to handle, to be able to handle Mega Medicham. If it's not like physically defensive or Generator, then I just can't. Then it just can't handle Mega Medicham. So this set should be able to kind of shuffle around his team a little bit and just get it weakened because he's going to have to switch things into Hyper Voice that don't want to switch into it because Celesteela definitely doesn't want to get put to sleep, or else that thing is just, the thing is going to get worn down. Like, you know what, I can go for a 3-hit KO with Clawitzer type deal. And so, while I was still on the fence about it just because of how little damage it does, I feel like being able to put Celesteela to sleep is going to help out tremendously. And Final Mon, I really was not resistant to putting this on the team, but I wasn't the biggest fan of initially. Like, I didn't think immediately, okay, Mega Medicham is a great matchup, but I did decide to put him on there because of how my team was developing. It could still use a good physical wall breaker. My only physical mons are a defensive Miltank and a Scarfed Zygarde, neither of which hit that hard, admittedly. And the fact that I do have Sticky Web now means that Medicham can go to town if I get Sticky Web up. So again, I'm not dependent on it, but it is going to be nice. Enough speed to outspeed Crocodile all the time. High Jump Kick, Poison Jab, Zen Headbutt, and Substitute. High Jump Kick hits almost everything. It 2-hit KOs Celesteela easily. Poison Jab is for Tapu Bulu, just because while there's still a chance of it, High Jump Kick into Zen Headbutt on a physically defensive Bulu isn't a guaranteed 2-hit KO. And I want a guaranteed 2-hit KO, so Poison Jab gets that done. Also, is a safer option to hit Rotom-Mow. And Zen Headbutt is actually for Quillfish because, believe it or not, a physically defensive Quillfish, because it does Intimidate, can take 2 high jump kicks all the time. And so Zen Headbutt is on there specifically just to make sure that that thing can't be some sort of weird check for me. And Substitute is, again, no other coverage is needed. Bullet Punch isn't good because his faster mons than me are basically just going to be Charizard, and that thing quad resists it, or at least it resists it. And Diancie actually takes more damage from high jump kick, and I'm always going to outspeed it, so no other coverage is needed, so just put Substitute on there. It's a great optional meta champ because that lets me get a really free hit off if he wants to switch something in. I love running sub on Mega Medicham. It is one of the best ways to use it because that if you let Mega Medicham get free hits, it's going to hurt something important. It can even sort of wear down its checks like that because, say, if Reuniclus has already taken a bunch of chip, like, maybe I've got off a big Dark Pulse on it or a big Bug Buzz or something like that, it only comes in at like 60%. It can't take 2 high jump kicks then. And this thing just blows through his team if it has Sticky Web support and Reuniclus is weakened. And that is my team. I am very happy with this, actually, because I just didn't expect to have to switch into Tapu Bulu. I have not actually faced it before, but I've prepped for it in a league, and the league died before I got a chance to play it. But I prepped for it. I didn't have a good counter for it. I actually feel like I have a good counter for it now. I still have to play it kind of smart, but I have the tools to wear him down. Ways he can beat me. Again, Zard can just Zard can set up and win, because if somehow he gets up to +2, he beats me, or if something happens to where he's able to get up a +1 and take no damage, like if I don't have hazards up, Zygarde doesn't guaranteed Oko it with 1,000 arrows, so it can take 1 if there are no hazards up. So it can beat me that way. He can also just beat me with Bulu if he is Adamant Choice Bandit and he catches me with the Superpower more than once. Because, like I said, I'm going to be switching. If he's locked into Superpower and he's Adamant Choice Band, which I'll know from the damage, then I'll switch into Sylveon, take the -1 Superpower, and I'll eat it like a champ. But I'll still have a weakened Miltank, and if I can't switch in Miltank anymore, if he just spams Superpower with it instead, that could beat me. And I feel like potentially an offensive Celesteela could actually be a problem, because it would outspeed, after a Flame Charge, it would outspeed everything other than Zygarde, and Zygarde doesn't actually hit it that hard. It would hit it harder because it's offensive, but it still wouldn't nuke it. Like, I'm still like barely a 3-hit KO on a defensive Celesteela with 1,000 arrows. That's crazy. That's really crazy. I still like this team though. Negatives aside, I feel like every team has a threat. Like, there's always a way you can win and lose, and I feel like I put myself in the best position to win. So if you like what you guys saw, make sure you like, subscribe, share, do what you do with the YouTube videos. And I'm going to get out here and see you guys later. I will do the battle at some point. I'm not battling tonight. I feel like shit. Wow, what a great way to send your viewers off, right? Alright, I will see you guys later.